Hey guys, it's three-time champ Tyler here with half champ G Scott.
Sole champion, actually, I believe. I
Yes,
did it all by myself and
so.
didn't need no help.
But first, shout out to G Scott for putting all this together and doing all the tech for it. So shout out to G Scott.
Thank you.
Sure.
We're
It's
figuring it out.
9 o'clock a.m. Yeah,
Yeah.
but 9 in the a.m. and this is what we do at 9 a.m. apparently on Sundays. This is Dad Wife.
hmm And I also think that we're bored because the Bengals game isn't today, so it's like, well, now what do we do with our Sunday?
Oh, exactly. And the Sunday games on local suck this week.
Yeah, I didn't actually even look at them, but I think I'm just gonna have TV on in the background so that I can check scores and stuff. But other than that, um, yeah, this is
It's
boring,
like
dude.
Browns who watch. Yeah, who watches the Browns? And then the other game is Green Bay. I forget where they're playing, but like, who the fuck wants to watch that without Aaron Rodgers? And then the 4 o'clock game is Kansas City versus the Bears. Like, really, we're gonna put a murder on national television?
Yeah. Well, the Bear or Kansas City has been kind of underperforming right now, and I say that as someone who has Mahomes in another league. So, but that's also probably because of Kelsey, right? I don't really know sports or anything, but I know that sometimes there's like Kelsey's apparently very good. I had a long conversation with someone who doesn't watch football recently, and I was like, Travis Kelsey gets drafted in the first round of draft leagues in fantasy football. And it's like the only guy that you get that's a tight end for 5 rounds.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
Like
yeah.
you realize how good you have to be, you know?
Well, George Kittle used to be on that level too, but he falls now to third rounds because of his injuries.
Yeah. Is that yeah, well Papa Tom actually has Kittle this week and it was really fortunate that he outperformed and I'm not bitter
Yeah.
yet.
Um. So, Chief Scott, I have to ask since I have you on here.
hmm
What's it feel like to win a half championship?
I gotta tell you know, a lot of people think that winning a full championship is the best. I think a half championship is even better because you get to share it with someone, you know? They always say it's lonely at the top, but, you know, for half champions, it's not because you got a buddy there, and that buddy talks a lot of shit, and he fucking sucks, and can't let anything go, but, you know, you don't choose who you share a half championship with, you know? So that's really the hard part.
How did you feel about all that shit that like went down, with the heartbeat and shit like that? Like, I mean, obviously, we were in discussion because we were figuring out what the hell we were gonna do, but like,
Well,
what was your thoughts on all that?
I think it just really reinforces that, like, so the reason we're not doing this in person is because, you know, social distancing, we want to be sure that we don't get each other sick with COVID or whatever. And it really reinforces how many vaccines I feel like we all need, you know? I, if there's one thing I wish I had was give me a fourth one. Um, but yeah, it just kind of sucked. And I also think that under different circumstances, it would have made sense to um have declared like a sole winner. Um,
Yeah.
I have a feeling that my audio is a little loud, so I'm going to move it down just a tad. But um, I think under other circumstances, it would have made sense to declare a sole winner. However, going into that game, and I've talked to like a lot of other leagues that have done it, that had to deal with that same situation. But it's like we had 4 players playing in that game. I'm projected to win by 10 points. Bengals are having a breakout game. And I don't think it's just as cut and dry as like, well, just imagine all 3 of them got struck by lightning, because I mean, then what do you do? Yeah, I don't
Right.
think that that's you might be able to do that for, you know, a throughout the league game, but the Super Bowl, you know? So,
Yeah.
no, I was really happy, and you know, and I remember with Derek, he really, uh, I posted that post in the little group chat saying, you know, I really appreciate Derek doing what I consider to be the right thing. and then Derek has since taken all of that goodwill and become the asshole that I always knew that he was. But for 10 minutes, he was a reasonable, rational, and nice guy. Ugh, sorry, it
Yeah, I
hurts.
mean,
Even my throat
I
didn't
think you
want to get
guys are
out
both.
Derek being a nice guy.
But yeah, I think it worked out all right. I think something unprecedented, and I think we had two options. I would have rather have gone and had you guys just play over the next week.
Hmm.
In which case, if you would have done, you would have actually lost because
I
Burrow
would have
did
lost
shit.
hard. But to
Yeah.
be fair, and Derek's not gonna like this episode now. I can tell. This is gonna be his least favorite. Episode 3 sucked. Bring back Papa Tom. Hashtag throw it in the comments. But the but I did offer that to Derek. Derek did not want that offer, and I'm glad that he didn't want it now in retrospect. So, mm.
But having you on, I had to ask those questions, but let's get into what's happening in the league right now. How about the fucking waiver wire?
Yeah. So, um, I'm actually gonna pull it up real quick just because I'm curious again. But I
Well,
th- I
I
think
have some.
there's one main thing to talk about with the waiver wire, I feel like at the moment, but go ahead, take it away.
Well, give you some time. I just feel like we're having more group participation in the waiver wire than we have ever had in years past.
Hmm.
Like, people have found the golden secret that is the waiver wire. And the free agent bidding, although I do think I want to make adjustments to it, I think it makes it so much more interesting
Yeah.
because you never, it's a guessing game. Am I going to get this person? And it just isn't automatically determined based off if your team is shit or not,
Hmm.
which at this point actually is a disadvantage for me because my team is shit.
Well,
Oh,
I
and
wish
two.
that there was a way for us to do like the auction as an actual auction, where it's like it really comes down to how much of my personal dollars do I want to spend. Whereas you could put in a bid for $100 and then you find out no one else bid. So it's got a little bit of risk. It is a fun mechanic, but it would also be fun. But you also got to be careful because I think the second you start trying to bid on black people with your white friends, it may cause a bit of a
Oh,
bad
shit.
press image.
Oh,
But
I never even thought about that.
no, he's strong, man. He's
That's funny.
strong. Look at those arms. He could really. I think he's gonna be able to carry a lot. Ugh, not a good look.
Yeah, but I think going forward we might have to lower the money to make you because you should not want to just freely drop $100, Tommy, uh, on a player.
Oh shit! Did he
Which
do
brings
that?
us to Deontay Swift
Oh my
this week.
god. Yeah.
Did you get that? Yeah, it was. I see. Everyone knew that Trent was going to bet 50 because that's all he had left, and he had been dropping $50 a person the week before, which is crazy, but he's new to the free agent bidding. So I
Yeah.
think that made everybody go that much higher. And then because Trent dropped so much money, everyone's like, "Oh shit, is so and so gonna drop like $100?" It was a
Well, the
good
funny
old fashioned war right there.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is like looking at the DeAndre Swift, he bet Trent bid $0, and
Right?
you, 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 D and Tom were all above $90. I like the 93 bid, by the way. This fucking Wheel of Fortune
Thank you.
shit, or what is that fucking Price is Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, see, here's the strategy, and I've given it away, which is why you'll notice that Jess, Tommy, and Mom all do it too. But like people typically bid in like increments of five. So like five, they'll either put $5 bid, $10 bid, 20, 30. So
Hmm.
my strategy is to always go one, just like Price is Right. Like,
Well, I like that 93 because then you're like, all right, so someone bid 90, someone else probably bid 91. Another person's like, I bet someone
one.
bid 91. That is a 4D play, you know?
I think way
Wow.
too much about this shit.
Well, it is interesting.
But
But talking, well, I actually had a question for you because,
yeah,
as the three-time champ, um, does it suddenly worry you that the other players in the game are actually starting to play the game with the waiver? Each year, each player is getting better. Does that really hurt your ceiling?
yes, yes. Answer is yes. Every day I worry, like it, without with the risk of sounding corny, but like you never know. It's like, am I going to win another one? Like, is this it? Like, I just get three and that's it. You know? Yeah, especially when everyone learns how to play the waiver wires and shit like that.
Right, right. I still have
Not
my
not to mention
200,
the feeling.
but I think I have my 200. I might be
Oh,
making
see,
up
that's the other
stuff.
thing. Because of all the shit I buy for the winner, when I win the league, I like break even.
Right, right. Mm. And I also appreciate that, by the way. All that you do for
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. I have a runaway
Yeah,
toy
well,
car that's yelling at me.
I try to make it special, man. I love winning, as you guys know, and try to make it special for the winner. I think it's cool. I like the keg this year. It's a work in progress, but I
Hmm.
think the keg legacy trophy is cool. But
Well, also, in terms of the waiver wire, do you want to talk about the other elephant in the room, which is
yes,
Trent has $0 left on the waiver?
yes, and it's only week 3. And see, the other thing is like, week 3, you're dropping some players because they had one bad week.
Right.
Like it's something you don't want to do because then, oh, that'll be the one of 3 bad weeks they had the entire season,
Yep. I've got in
which
a
I think is
Well, yeah, no, because it also like especially like when you have running backs like Damian Pierce, for example, who I have in league, is I remember last year he consistently underperformed, and then this year I'm going, but this year's it's a new year, man. It's an odd numbered
yeah.
year. I don't know if that helps in some way, but maybe it will. And I draft Damian Pierce, and then he just keeps underperforming, and then it puts you into this position of like, all right, do I risk it? And then next thing you know is he's like he really finds his stride, and somebody else gets to pick him up off a waiver wire. You know?
To me, unless you can find someone significantly better that's proven it a couple weeks,
Hmm.
like or has like just some monster stat. Like I picked up Puka from the
Hmm.
Rams, and he got like 20 points and was getting like, he's the new Cooper Cup at the Rams. And I was like, and I saw his targets. It's like, oh yeah, I gotta have him. But like, if it's not, give your players some time. Like I think he learned that. Trent learned that with Deontay Swift. Deontay
Hmm.
Swift had one bag lead. He dropped him, and bam,
Oh
balls
shit!
out.
Wow. Well, I wish Trent luck. Obviously, the hard part's going to be the later games of the year when you get a really bad injury and your backups aren't performing and they got vaccinated and they had to cancel a game, so now they're out for the rest of the year. Having that waiver money will be really helpful later on because you'll be able to pick up a lot of shit because a lot of people are not going to have any money left. You know.
Especially if you're battling for, championship, that's going to come in clutch.
Hmm.
Being able to pick up whoever you want to there late in the playoffs.
Yep. Yeah, because we don't have trades after
But
8 weeks this year, so
yeah, no trades after 8 weeks, but we also have a 16 playoff, which means just don't be the bottom 4,
right,
you know, and you have a shot.
right. Well, going into it then, man, if you want to go into the next section here, unless there's anything else you wanted to talk
Yeah.
about with that.
Uh, I just want to talk about Tommy picking up Kyron Williams like way ahead of everybody. Like he picked him up last week, and then I was searching for him this week, and he had already got him. So I just want to kudos to Tommy for dropping Kyron Williams.
Yeah,
And
well,
then
unkudos, man. He's facing me this week. That fucking sucks.
yeah.
And if you
And
keep,
then
go ahead.
go ahead.
Well, no, I open up Sleeper every day, and every day it started out with me and Tommy like within a point of each other, and then every day it just adds 2 points to Tommy, and that's not worrisome. I don't even know what's happening. Like why all of a sudden is Zay Flowers getting an extra point? They don't explain why. Does he look good at practice? Nothing. They're just like, no, we think he's gonna do better now. Ah,
But let's go into what happened last week. We
yeah,
had Trent 157 over Frank 126. Your thoughts on that
yeah.
victory?
Well, I think that Frank has a really good team this year, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Chubb. That's why. Old
Yeah.
bendy leg. Um, yeah, that fucking sucks. Well, real as a side note, um, I wanted if you guys have DraftKings, I want to make just tell you guys to really bid on the Rams this week because every time I come up with a bet, I lose it. Pretty heftily. I bet that the Bengals were going to beat the Browns. They lost. I bet that Aaron Rodgers was going to have a breakout game. Lost. I bet the Bengals would beat Baltimore. Lost. And then I bet on Chubb to have an amazing game, and I lost. So I'm thinking if I bid on my
Speaking of
enemies
which,
now, we might actually have a shot here, guys. So,
we are going to be having a new segment every week called "Taking All Bets,"
oh
and it's going
shit,
to be
Derek.
Derek putting what his bets that he would be making for the week. You know how they share that in the group. I just figured I'd give
Yeah,
him his own little segment on here.
that's
But
pretty
we've
cool.
been working on it for weeks, and we're working out the kinks. So next week we should have it for sure.
That's pretty cool. All right, I like this.
But I think Trent's got a good team. I hate his bench. I don't think he has much depth. And Frank is just like myself having a slow start.
Yeah, I think that
And
too.
then
Nah, it pretty much covers it.
we had Cody 154 over Derek 138.
That's an easy win for Cody. Derek's team is terrible. It's probably not going to get any better. I honestly may have our first and we'll say 19. I don't even know if we have that many games, but I think Derek will be the first one to accomplish that, which will be cool because I think we should get a trophy for it. But um, yeah, no,
I'll,
that
I'll
just really
work on
sucks.
it.
Realistically, it's like Derek's just having some shit luck this year, so kind of similar to you and Frank in that regard. So
Cody's somehow he's getting hit with the injury bug, and he's somehow bouncing back and getting a W. I like Cody's team, and I think he's playing smart, although he's not really getting much waiver wire. But I think he's got a good team, and Derek, like you said, I think he's definitely having a Super Bowl hangover.
hmm
But he's got plenty of time to fix it with the waiver wire, and we'll see what happens.
right.
Then we had Mama D 141 over her husband 131.
Yeah, T. Higgins had a hell of a game that week, which really kind of saved her there. Um, yeah, that's really all I got to say about it. I think that's she's got a really decent team, and I think going back to something that you said earlier is like that all these people are everybody's playing the waiver wire like we never have before. One thing that's also occurring is no one really has a bad team. Chelsea has a decent team this year. That is
We'll get
that's
to that
words you don't
later.
say. So, um I didn't know that sequence of words could fit in a sentence, but here we are. So, but yeah, it is really nice to see some real competition going on this year, and good job, Mama D, on beating Tom. I'm hoping to follow in your footsteps this week. So,
I think Mom. Like I said, no bad teams. Did. She just had some players that I thought were injury prone, but she did a good job. She got her W. I'm not always gonna bet against her, I promise. And I think Tommy's got a really, really good team, and he's definitely had some bad luck this week, but I feel like it'll turn around for him.
Yeah. Hopefully next week, but yeah.
Then we had my wife over you, buddy. 155, 152, the closest game of the week.
Yeah, that one was a tough one, and that was hard watching because it felt like every 5 seconds I was opening it and I was up, and then I was down, and then I was up, and basically we were just competing, if you will. But yeah, and I could have had that if I put in Geno Smith, but it is what it is. I think that was if I'm gonna lose, I'd rather it be close, you know. But she had a breakout
See,
fucking week.
I'm the opposite. I don't want to lose and it be close.
What might have
But
been.
Jess is an undercover monster. For a while there, she was Miss Fifth Place,
Hmm.
and then her and Chelsea went to the Super Bowl, and then she almost made it back to the Super Bowl. Like, Jess is definitely a savage at this game. She's just missing a ring, and I think she's closer and closer every year to getting one.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And I think your team sucks. I just play.
Yeah, it can, but yeah, that was real unfortunate 3 points. But at 5 points, 5.25 points, we have to talk about the most deserved victory in all of fantasy football was Chelsea beating the grand champion here. So walk me through how many Kleenex boxes did you go through, wiping up tears this week? Because you did not seem too thrilled about it in the group chat.
There was a little bit more extra tissues on my side of the bed this week for sure.
Justin's like,
Um,
again.
he's got a lot of mucus.
So,
But
yeah, that
no,
sucks,
I thought I
man.
had that one. I thought I had that one. I scored the highest record breaking for this year score, and I went to bed. I woke up the next day to a very shitty reality that I had lost to the only other person that scored higher than me in the league and broke the season record for points scored. Fuck my
That's,
life.
but congrats to Chelsea, man.
Yeah, well, I was about to say it would have been worse because she was actually the least efficient manager this week. She could have scored 222 points this week. That's how
Jesus.
good her fucking team is.
What's the high
Yes,
score in a week for the history of our league?
the history of our league, man, webs we switched from NFL, which I think we're gonna switch back to next year because of
Wow.
how glitchy Sleeper is.
All
But
right. I like
I don't
Sleeper,
know. I
but we'll
have
talk
to.
about it off.
Yeah, we. I'll have to look into it. We also have changed the way we score shit differently.
Hmm.
Like we used to have the bonuses and stuff like that.
No, that makes sense.
But for this year, it's 171.
Understood. Well, she's the reigning champ of that at least. So, but yeah,
But
well played, Chelsea.
let's let's go into this week. We have myself versus Trent. Should be a good matchup. Who you got?
Let's take a look here. Um, Trent is projected to do more points, but I think that will play a factor and he'll beat you.
You think that will be a factor?
I think the more points tends to be the thing that is helpful, and I don't know. I think he's got a good team. I think later in the season we're going to see a little drop in those numbers, but I don't know. I've got Trent beating you this week.
Um, we'll see if my players can do what they did last week. I think if they do, I'll win, and if they don't, I'll lose.
Yeah, can't win if you
But
lose, man. Wait, you can't lose if you can't. You have to win in order to win. I think it's biblical verse Corinthians.
I'll believe it. I'll tattoo it. Um, then we have Tommy versus Scott.
I'll be honest with you. Think think I'm gonna lose. I uh I think it's gonna be close. I think it'll be just as close as last week with me and Jess, but I think it'll be close, and I think I'll lose by under 5 points.
Um, I think take a Tommy too. He picked up Kyron Williams. He didn't start him last week. I don't think he did. Uh, he's gonna start him this week. He just got Deontay Swift, and I think Gainwell's out again. So Deontay
hmm
Swift's gonna ball, and I think that's gonna really go against you. I think it'll be a high scoring affair though.
Right. No, I agree.
And then we have Mom versus Cody. This one's tough.
This one is a tough one. This one's a really tough one. Um, I think I'm gonna go Mama D.
Um, I'm actually changing up my pick from I made to the video that we didn't have the audio for, and I'm actually gonna go with Mom too.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because I keep being wrong when I bet against her. So maybe if I take her,
Well, that's
I'll
the
get it right
key.
for once.
So you record one episode where you say it's gonna be Cody, you record another one where it's Mama D, and then no matter what, you're right.
Yeah,
So you win. I said it
that's my
first,
strategy.
actually, now that I think about, you know what I mean? So, all right. Well,
Then we have Derek versus Chelsea.
I think Derek's gonna get his first win this year.
Oh,
I think it's gonna be the first one. Probably the last one for a while, but the first one for now. So, yep.
I'm going with Chelsea. I'm going with Chelsea. I think Chelsea continues her savage ways,
hmm
and I think she drafted the best team. So
Oh, I don't disagree with that. I just think Derek's gonna pull some shit finally. Derek's gonna do something where he just barely makes the playoffs. He goes like 2-7 or 7-2. You know, all the stuff he goes. You know, he's 0-2 now. He just pulls 7 out in a row, winning by like a point and a half, and then yeah. So we'll see. Derek's like a fucking roach, man. Just when you're like, he's out, he's fine. You know, he's right back. So
it just won't go away.
yep. Derek is the
And then
bed bugs of
finally,
people, I would say. Yeah.
and then finally we have Frank versus Jess.
I think this is an easy just win.
Easy, just one.
Sorry, Frank.
Happy wife, happy life. So yeah, I definitely think Jess is gonna win.
Yeah, she beat me last week, so I have to say she's going to beat the next people, and she has to because otherwise, then I look like I lost to someone that doesn't win a lot. So, she's going to win a lot. But no, this in particular, this game, I think that she's just got the better team. So,
Well, now it's time for my favorite part of the show, which is final thought. You got a
okay.
final thought, G Scott?
Oh, is
Yep.
this that thing where we talk about anything that we really want to talk about? Doesn't have to be fantasy football related.
Yes. Doesn't have to be fantasy football, really.
Okay.
It could be something deep. It could be a simple message, a quote.
Yeah.
You could talk about music. You could talk about movies. You could talk about politics.
Okay. Um,
Just what's been on your mind.
what has been on my mind? Not a lot happens up here. And if something does happen, it tends to come out pretty quickly and then it's gone. Um, oh, here's something. And I think this is kind of interesting. They found a wooden structure dated back 476,000 years ago that early humans made. And and it clearly required like more than like two people to build it. And I just think about that sometimes like, dude, that was like 237 Jesuses ago, you know? There are just people out there arguing. So it's not helpful to anyone, but it's fun to think about. All those bones, man.
Yeah.
Also, get your
Who else?
pets spayed and
Civilization.
neutered.
Okay, Bob Barker. Rest in peace. Did not go over $1. My final thought is, did you see that Ohio State Notre Dame game last night?
I didn't. Someone at the concert I was
It
at played it, but I was busy with the music.
Yeah. All biased aside, it was one of the best games I've seen all year. Hard fought out, but the Ohio State did manage with 3 seconds left on the clock to run it into the end zone. And while I think that's an amazing victory for Ohio State, and I want to give them their kudos, like they played really good. They are the better team. But what I want to focus on is how Ryan Day outcoached Marcus Freeman, the head coach of Notre Dame. Notre Dame was up 3, 4 minutes left. All they got to do is run the ball and kill time. And what do? They throw a screen pass incomplete to stop the clock and gives Ohio State a timeout, extra timeout, and it ends up literally costing them the game because they scored with 3 seconds left on the clock.
Wow.
Ohio State, great victory. Ryan Day outcoached the shit out of Marcus Freeman, so I'm not trying to take anything away from Ohio State, but Marcus Freeman, that was shitty as fuck play call. And that's my final thought.
You know, it's an interesting week when Tyler's commending Ohio State in any way. So, really, guys, Republican, Democrat, black, white, almond, cashew butter. We can all come together and be the salad instead of the individual pieces of ingredients at Subway. We can all make this giant sandwich together. And that's great. So, has that been our time, buddy?
Yeah. Till next week. Peace.
Spay your cat.